It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put where Sean has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. What up? What up? We about to get started very shortly here. Guys, I'm not playing. Hit the like button. What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Thank you guys for coming in to the stream. And so this was the weekend of all weekends as far as people anticipating what would happen at arguably the best venue on the East Coast, if not one of the best venues on the tour. Talking about Silver Springs, New York tonight. Shout out to everyone who came down and saw me. If I did not see you this weekend, I am sorry. It was just so much going on. So much going on here, and just trying to catch as many people as I can, and hopefully if I didn't see you this weekend, I'll see you another time. So let's see what's going on with some of the comments here. Shout out to Shane. I did meet him yet again, we met at Deer Creek. And Ron from Colorado's typical time, but that reminds me of Shane, who was in the lawn. Shout out to Steph, who I met. Shout out to all the people from Connecticut and Massachusetts, that crew with everyone out there. But this was a great weekend. We'll talk about the set in full. My thoughts overall, but just to set the scene for tonight, right? Last night, SPAC night 1, we had a show that really got people to come to SPAC night 2. Okay, I literally was looking through the message boards. I was looking through some of the different book groups and antsmarching.org, and people were really trying to. They saw that set last night and they said, "Listen, based on that, night 2 awesome," and they were ready for this night, SPAC night 2, Saturday night in Saratoga Springs, New York. People bought lawn tickets. They said, "Listen, I'm not even going to be able to see anything but the back of the person in front of me, all right, and a screen at the top of the pavilion. But I want to be at this night 2. I want to be in the moment for this night 2." And here we are after night 2 with a very, very interesting set. Okay. And I went to Deer Creek this year, right? I went to Alpine this year. But we're at SPAC, right? And one thing that you cannot deny, listen, there was some haters, right? We had some people that we had some people from Alpine that were watching the set list, hating, saying, it's not as good as Alpine, the crowd's not as lit, or the set, whatever. But SPAC is its own adventure. SPAC is its own little bubble where if you haven't been, if you're not there that night, you don't know what's going on here. Okay. And this weekend, it was a great weekend. And this show, we got some rarities, which I'm uploading right now to YouTube. Let's take a look to see if we, this Encore was everything. Right? This Encore was everything. Let's actually pull up, shout out to DMB Society. We're going to pull up. I'm going to get the set list up. Now, and this, you know how crazy this show was? It shut down antsmarching.org. Not Ants Marching. The DMB Almanac was shut down because it was so big, right? It was so big when they played Pay For What You Get. Everyone was trying to pull up to the Almanac. Everyone and their mama, their daddy, their cousin were trying to pull up to the DMB Almanac, and it shut it down. Let's see what Hines has to say here. Nothing saved this set but the Encore. Let's not kid around. Yeah, we'll get to that set here and talk about what happened. Tonight's poster was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I mean, it was a poster. Now, we'll talk about the poster later, but we'll get to that as well. There's my boy Shane. He says, "Hi from New York." And let's actually pull up Shane here because he did tag me in this. And like I said, I met him at Deer Creek, but we actually were chilling more, like he was in line. And but today I actually got to visit him. Now, shout out to his wife Angie. Angie got the foil, right? She got the foil for this awesome poster that came up here. And let's see if I can find. Yeah, here it is. So here we are. Look at that right there. Shout out to Shane. There we are right there. It was awesome to catch up with Shane again, and I wish him safe travels back to Colorado. And I'm going to bring on a guest in after I just go over a brief synopsis of this set and what I was thinking here in the set, and we're gonna pull this up. But the show starts. I mean, there were so many more people tonight than there was the night before. There were like the lawn was just absurdly packed. All right. And my boy Shane there that you saw in the picture, he got his lawn spot early. Right. He got his lawn spot early. But if you were there late, you didn't have a good spot. So the first song we have this Bartender. I knew it was coming because Dave had this 12 string with the tan drop D. The tan is that, or that light color is his drop D 12 string. And I said, all right, they're doing Bartender. After that, there is a little bit of a dead period. It's a little bit of a friend zone period, right? Where you try to go out and you're trying to holler at a girl and she said, listen, she's giving you the runaround and you got to put in that work, right? Can't Stop, Proudest Monkey, Satellite, Louisiana Bayou was that friend zone. All right. But I'd rather have that early, right? Get all of those out the way. I know I'm not going to get those. When we get to Sweet, this is where the tide turns. Sweet, that I call Sweet, is the Extreme Makeover Home Edition 2021 recipient. It is a totally different song with the jam at the end, Buddy Strong being a big part of that. The horns have an awesome little part that they've done, and that's Rashawn there. And then you have Tim even on guitar. He's much better mixed in this 2021-2022 era in Sweet. We get Recently after that, right? We get a Recently, and Recently was that's something that always makes a set awesome. The third one of the tour, and a classic, a DMB classic, right? After Recently, we get Warehouse. This is where, again, going to all these major venues this year, the Warehouse woos were the loudest in SPAC. All right. Listen, Alpine was great. Shout out to Jessica in Alpine. Shout out to Connor, who was at Alpine. Right. Shout out to all the people I met. To Steph, right? She was there. Right. Shout out Stephanie, right? SK Boyd, Fire Dancer. Alpine was awesome, but the noise of the woos tonight, because they had them in Alpine. Listen, I was outside at both these shows, and there was something about that those Warehouse woos. We get a Walk Around the Moon, Break Free, Seek Up, and this is another just a great run, right? It's a great run in this set. And I thought it was, those songs. I love Walk Around the Moon. The other thing to highlight where I was, if you check my Twitter, Conserviz34, some of the effects when you're at SPAC and you're in the upper deck like I was, the effects here were on point compared to Deer Creek and Alpine, where the rig was not moving. The rig didn't have as much color as it had tonight. It was more, again, it's standing still. So I thought it was great. DP Duke says, surprised SPAC didn't get Louie like Alpine. Yeah, there were some people trying to sing it, but they just, Dave didn't do it. It wasn't, I will say Alpine had the louder Louie. Now I was in the upper deck. Sometimes you don't know what's going on in the lower deck because the sound is different, but I did not hear it as loud. Like, obviously Dave sang it, and, hey, it is what it is. Now this Sledgehammer, Come On. Now Sledgehammer shuts down the show for the actual fans, and I love Peter Gabriel, but Sledgehammer to me is a song that I think needs to be retired. Put it up in the rafters, next to Michael Jordan, Bill Russell. It's a great. I love Peter Gabriel, but Sledgehammer makes the crowd going, but I think it's ran its course for DMB. Come On was okay. I think that for this type of SPAC night too, I would have subbed that out for something else, but it did its job. Minarets was definitely cool. What I would say about Minarets there was some sort of delay or reverb in Minarets with Dave's mic, and I did not hear that when I heard it back in earlier in this little road trip that I've had. So that was really cool. Lion Our Graves was awesome. Yet again, they did not finish it. And maybe they're just doing this, they're messing with us. But it is what it is. Still a great Lion Our Graves. And it's because going to the last couple of weekends, right? We get some different guests on Lion Our Graves, from Lawler to Krasno. Now Tim comes back and he really, he does his Lion Our Graves. We get a Crush that had a lot of energy. We get a Rooftop that had some energy. And then we have an Ants that had a deceptive kind of intro before the drums of Carter come on. There's, Dave's kind of messing around on the guitar and you don't know what you're going to get. This encore is the best encore of the year. It may be the best encore of the year. Maybe something tops it. Who knows? It was written on the set list as a solo spot, and to get paid for what you get. To me, that was the highlight, and that was the saving grace of this weekend, because I think this SPAC night too, if it does not have pay for what you get in the encore, we're talking about a whole lower level of a show. People go to shows like I go to shows at a heavier rate than I go to shows to get moments like pay for what you get. Just amazing. It was amazing. And it was DMB acoustic percussive. It was not Tim C. DC taking over. There's no organ on it. But listen, I love Buddy, right? Buddy was doing his thing on Pay for What You Get, but everyone allowed it to have that classic feel. That was important and that mattered. Jeff Coffin on that soprano sax. Anytime Jeff Coffin takes that soprano sax out, it was amazing. It's going to be fire. Then we get the Too Much Fake into Halloween. And this was just a moment to shut down the entire weekend, right? To make things going. I will say, if you just went to night 2, now some people may have just went to night 2 and been happy. If you just went to night 2, I think you would be a little bit disappointed. If you went to night 1 and night 2, you had a lot of great things. When you add up, when you count your assets and you count your liabilities for the weekend, you really get a SPAC weekend that had a lot of cool things. In a night 1 that had a lot of can't miss songs. I mean, You and Me had to be played so I could go to the bathroom, right? Pretty much it had to be played so I could go to the bathroom, because everything else was great. That Girl Is You this weekend. No Jimmy thing this weekend. I think when we reflect on this weekend, you're gonna say, could there been more things? Absolutely. I think Shotgun should have been played this weekend. If Shotgun was played this weekend, they could have had even more mediocre songs, and I would have been happy. No Stone this weekend. No Pig. No Spoon. No Ray. This is really, I can't, like, there's a lot of songs that weren't played, but I think what's important is what was played and what wasn't played. No Jimmy thing is huge. No That Girl Is You is huge, right? No Samurai Cop is huge. No She. I know some people, and I get Matt Souden says, listen, the whole show was a friend zone, a few teases, but you wouldn't get really far. Yeah. No Big Eye Fish. And I would have rather had Big Eye Fish stand alone than Bartender, if I could have chosen. Because I think because we've heard Bartender north of the border, in Toronto. But I think that I would have picked Big Eye Fish over Bartender in this specific instance where we already had Bartender as a tour debut in Toronto. So there's that weren't played. I think the biggest disappointment is no Shotgun. You play Shotgun at Homedale, New Jersey, but that is also this tour. This tour, the biggest takeaway I have from this tour is you don't have to go to a major venue to get some gems. If you just went to Homedale, New Jersey, if your money was tight, the economy is tough right now, and there's a lot of hard things, and houses are foreclosing. If you could only be on the Homedale, New Jersey lawn, you got a Shotgun opener. That's huge. If you just went to the first night in Austin, Texas, not a DMB mecca of any sorts, you got Shotgun. If you went to some of those southern shows, you got Dreaming Tree. SPAC did not get Dreaming Tree. Deer Creek did not get Dreaming Tree. Alpine did. But there is something for every region of this tour so far, every couple of stops so far. If you made a couple 2-night runs, even if they weren't 2-night stands, there is something from every single pocket of this tour where they can say, "Hey, we got this." Okay? That is the biggest thing about this tour, and that's how I think it's going to go down in the history books, that you could have gone to a middle of nowhere southern show and gotten Dreaming Tree, a middle of nowhere southern show and gotten Shotgun. You could have went to Brandon, Mississippi and got a bunch of gems, and you, even if you could not afford to go to SPAC, even if you couldn't afford to go to Alpine, even if you couldn't afford to go to Deer Creek, you got something that those venues did not get. And that, I think that is a special thing, because not everyone could go to Deer Creek, not everyone can go to Alpine, not everyone can go to SPAC. Some people can only go to that show within 2 to 3 hours of where they live, and that's the only show that's within 2 to 3 hours of where they live. And I empathize with a lot of fans who are not close to many different venues like I am. Right, 2.5 from SPAC, an hour and a half from Mansfield, 15 to 20 from Hartford. MSG's 2 hours plus in change, right? Boston is 2 hours if they do a TD Garden show. Camden is 3.5 from me. Guilford is 3 and change. So not everyone has that luxury that I have to be able to go on the trips that I have. But if you just went to one show and it was in the South, you went to one show and it just happened to be the opening night in Austin. If you went to one show, it was Atlanta, right? Or Bristol. There were special things for everyone. All right. Before we continue, I do want to bring on our next guest, who, by the way, saw me in 2018, my last SPAC Saturday, and saw me having a ball. I was doing the, come on. I had the, shoot the, I had the Cupid's arrow leaned back, and I was aiming it at the stage. Sledgehammer in 2018. Your boy was, going nuts. I was feeling it. So we're gonna bring on. Let me just take off this chat here. Matt, we're gonna bring on Eric. Eric, how you doing?
Hey man, how's it going? Good to see you.
I'm doing well, living the dream and dreaming to live. So, just introduce yourself to the stream here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your history with the Dave Matthews Band.
Absolutely. So, it's funny. I'll get to our story in a second, but yeah, my girl brought me to this whole DMV, life, and it was back. I was going to UConn, and it was Hartford back when it was called the Meadows, and she's like, "We're going to Dave Matthews this week." And then back in the day, he used to do 2-3 nights in Connecticut, right? Like it wasn't just the single nights that we have now. But and she's like, she puts the catalog in front of me. She's like, start liking this stuff. And I'm a traditionally like a harder rock guy, but I fell in love with two-step, and then we went to the show in Hartford, and next thing you know, 30 plus shows later, we're here in Saratoga, and yeah, it's become a thing. We've seen him in Hartford now, West Palm Beach, Saratoga. She went out and saw him in UK. Back then, like she made a work trip work out, and yeah, it's become a thing. It's a good thing. And when I saw you, right, funniest story ever, right? We were 3-4 seats away, 2018, and you were doing the whole, the arrow, the shot, the everything for come on, and I was like, I think that's concert vids, and we ran into each other the other night, and next thing you know, that's it, man. Good times.
Yeah, and those Hartford shows, 99 and 2000, they had 3 nights.
Yes.
Was it 98? They had 2 nights. That was the first 2-night stand. And after 2001 to 2014, they had 2 nights. 2015 was the first year in Hartford that they kind of reverted back to that single night since 97. So tell us about, so we know your history with the band, your girl got you into that, and that's very common. As I've walked around these last couple of weeks, we've had boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, side chicks, main chicks, third wives, first wives. It's there's something where your spouse kind of wins you over into this band. And tell us about this show. What do you think about this show, SPAC Night 2?
I'm going to tell you, man, between night one, so I went to both night one, night two. We both,
Yep.
we were both inside. Night one, we were downstairs, and night two, we were up in balcony. And I liked it overall. We were coming right from Hartford. That was our last show. And I don't know. They, like last night, they couldn't find the groove. I felt like, like they had some great starts, and I felt they ended weak, last night. And then today, stronger show. Good songs overall. I agree with you with Sledgehammer. It's a good song for them, but I don't know if they should keep, I think it's like you said, it's kind of wearing out, right?
Absolutely. You contrast it to Fool in the Rain, and Fool in the Rain has that freshness because it's the full band hasn't played it ever before last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that freshness where Sledgehammer, it gets people, listen, people are having fun. They're having adult beverages. They are having the green, they're getting their vegetables rolled up and they're having a good time. So you're going to have a crowd reaction to it overall. But I think a lot of people like me and you, we go to these shows where 20, 30, 40 shows in or more, and we're kind of over Sledgehammer. So I think that having songs like Fool in the Rain, having even though I don't like covers, I think they should cover their catalog, right?
Yeah.
I think if they had another fresh cover, or even just brought in like a time of the season that we haven't, we don't get that every leg of the tour. And, even though it's been around in the last couple of years, we don't get it often. Something like that changes the game for a lot of the people that are, paying for 4, 5, 6 shows a year.
And I miss Watchtower. I would have liked to see Watchtower. They could have done a little Zeppelin on top of that.
Yeah, I don't know if you know how I feel. I don't like the current version of Watchtower. But here's what I'll admit though. A lot of people love of the Watchtower. We got JoJo over here. He's been gracious enough to allow me to hang out here for tonight. He loves Watchtower, and I think most of the fan base loves Watchtower. So I agree. Even though I don't like that song in its Tim C DC era, that's a cover that people love, both casual, first time people, and diehard. So that's a song where even though I don't like it, I can be honest and say that, listen, that would have been a song that pushes the needle for a lot of fans. That is a cover. So,
well, man, I'm about to get kicked off right now because I'll say Fool in the Rain, though. I'm a little concerned because OAR, which is kind of like the subpar Dave Matthews, does a killer Fool in the Rain. So I was surprised to see that was their new cover because that's more of a rock thing, not a huge horn section, traditionally. But I mean, they're pulling it off. But I didn't think they were going to pull. I didn't think they were going to choose that as one of their big covers now.
Well, the history of Fool in the Rain is Dave and Friends did it in the mid 2000s 3 times. Stefan Lessard with Yukon Cornelius, a side project he has with other talented musicians from famous bands, they did it once. Obviously, Dave has done Zeppelin covers. He is influenced by Zeppelin. And so it wasn't as much of a shock in the sense that, okay, they're doing another Zeppelin cover. I think the biggest thing was some people had been hoping for this. Some people saw it at Dave and Friends and were like, hey, let's bring this to the full band. So that is interesting. Yeah, OAR is kind of like a Walmart brand DMB. They didn't. They're definitely talented musicians, but they didn't catch on like DMB, and they were influenced by that same type of like acoustic garage rock.
Absolutely.
Out of those homies out of Rockville, Maryland. They have that festival DMB will be at. They didn't catch on, but that's one cover that people pointed to me, and they told me about that cover when I was trying to get some more details on other bands that have maybe possibly played this song. So, you know, someone had pointed out OAR does it a lot. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now I talked about that little what I call the friend zone of the set, the Can't Stop to Bayou. How do you feel about Can't Stop, Proudest Monkeys, Satellite, Bayou? Do you feel like some of those songs may not be as bad as I think they are? Or do you think that is a kind of a dead part in the set?
Again, I might gonna get banned after some of these comments, but I feel like Proudest Monkey that shuts me down. It's just like it doesn't have the energy, and to me that's that bathroom song. You know, when Proudest Monkey starts up, it brings the energy down. It's like let's reset and stuff like that. Now, and I know you're not a fan of Bayou, but they end Bayou pretty strong. You know, like that's a good jam song once they get going and stuff like that, and they can keep that one rocking. So Proudest Monkey takes me down, Satellite starts warming it back up, and then Bayou's okay for me.
Yeah, no, I will say the one part I think it should just be an outro jam. I think that Buddy Strong, when he's jumping up and down, the crowd, the one thing I'll say too about Buddy is this weekend, like other weekends I've seen in the last couple of weeks, when Buddy starts jumping up and down, or when he gets up, it sounds like if you close your eyes, it sounds like somebody took the stage with the band who you didn't think, like it's like James Brown walks out or Bella Fleck walks out. It is amazing the volume changes when Buddy just starts jumping up and down, when he starts doing his everyday vocals. If you close your eyes or if you look away, you would almost think that somebody was coming on stage with Dave that's extremely famous. And hey, who's that? Who's on stage? What are they gonna do? It's very, very interesting to really see how the fan base really loves Buddy Strong.
Oh yeah, they lit up tonight. You heard the crowd chanting, man, the
Yes.
Buddy. And my girl was saying tonight was like Buddy's night. I mean, like he had more solos. He was, and I don't know. We were, like I said, we were upper right, and I don't know if we just couldn't hear the same mix as everyone else did, but it just sounded like it was his night. It was all keyboards tonight.
Yeah, no, Buddy. I was in the upper balcony center, and you guys, you'll see the videos where I am. Let's see if I got. Trying to see if this video is still uploading. Pay for what you get, but yeah, like the sound was interesting. I don't know, I just want to compare that. Think about 2018. Is it me or did it seem like some of the sounds in the balcony tonight, the lower level last night, it seemed like the sounds, it sounded great. It didn't sound horrible, but it sounded different than my typical SPAC mix that I get from the band.
It sounded different, but they were also, it was interesting tonight because they were setting up for longer too. Like they were walking back and forth. I don't know if there was some kind of technical thing, but a little bit different, right? I mean, I'm talking off stage to my girl, right? Yeah. It was a little different. You were at Hartford too. We were, I think, both in the pit, right?
Yes.
And it's so funny, like SPAC to me, you got to be inside and in the seats. And like Absolutely. Hartford, right? And Hartford, Pit's a good area, and but you can also do lawn. You know, I don't think we've ever done. We did SPAC lawn once, and it just wasn't the same. You know.
Yeah.
But the sound was off. The sound was off this week. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No. And shout out to Shane. I met him in the lawn. If you're gonna do lawn, you have to get there early, like Shane. Shane had a wonderful spot. Otherwise, you are watching the hairs on the back of your neighbor behind you. And tonight, the SPAC night too, there were people literally, they have their lawn chairs on what is really the walkway, the concourse. People are like, very far back. And it reminds me of what they used to do. Now they have a lot of these fights, for these boxing fights in bigger stadiums. But when like a Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather in different eras, they would go have a boxing match at the MGM Arena. You could buy a closed circuit television ticket, meaning you're in a conference room next to the MGM Garden Arena, but you have a closed circuit TV in a conference room. You can watch a lot of gamblers would do this, right? You're getting that TV signal before it even hits the pay-per-view. And you could pay, like, sometimes it could be $100, $200 to be in that room, and you can hear the crowd, right? You can literally hear the crowd next to you in the actual arena, but you're not in the arena. That's what the SPAC lawn is past the first 5 to 10 people to me. It's just you're literally you're experiencing, hey, they don't have live streaming apps for DMB. Come to the lawn, listen. You can hear some of it's not going to be the best sound, but you can hear the band, and you can literally feel the crowd. That's what it seems like to me. It's like those boxing matches with the closed circuit TV conference room.
Yeah. So what did you think about, again, Hartford? They didn't give us any new songs, but obviously in SPAC we got Walk Around the Moon, we got Madman's Eyes last night.
Yeah.
It sounds like this new album's going to be dark.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the new album, I mean, the Madman's Eyes is something they haven't pulled out in a while. Now, we did get Walk Around the Moon in Hartford. Don't forget, we got Walk Around the Moon. I'm looking at the set from Hartford. Yeah, we did get Walk Around the Moon in Hartford.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I do remember, because I shot a video of Dave's guitar fretboard, so because I was so close, and I was like, just to kind of get an idea of seeing what he's doing. That video is on my YouTube channel. So, but I like those songs. Now, Madman's Eyes, it'll be interesting to see how I feel about it a year from now. I do like the song, but there's people kind of getting up and leaving during it now, and it's kind of distracting. It is, like, I saw people at SPAC last night, SPAC night 1. They like kind of heard it. They said, "Hey, I think it's Minarets," and I said, "No, this is Madman's Eyes." I explained what it was, and they went to the bathroom. Now, I think they listened to the first 30 seconds. They're like, "Yeah, we're going." I think it's a high energy song, but it'll be interesting to see how the crowds react to this as we get to another year, a third year of it. Last year it didn't come out until Columbus, Ohio. That was the tour really the debut of the song. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll really see what happens with the album, because I have people saying that, hey, there's a fall tour coming. MSG, I heard Mohegan, maybe like someone that knows people at Mohegan said they're gonna have a tour stop. So we'll see what happens with that. Any other final thoughts before we let you go here?
Yeah, man. Who do you think's having the most fun on this tour or these last 2 nights? Because I've been watching Carter. Carter's been having a good time. It seems like Stefan's having a good time. What are your opinion? Who thinks having the best time of these?
So, I mean, I really think Buddy Strong is having and this is the thing. He is going on his social media presence. He is like, he's still now Carter has fun too. That's the thing, is everyone's having fun, and the catalyst is Buddy. But Buddy Strong almost is like every day he's thankful just to be a part of this thing. He's the newest real member of this whole thing that's a touring member. So Buddy Strong just seems like he still takes videos. Like, I can imagine if I was guesting with DMB and I'm walking on stage with them, like, they're like, "Hey, we need someone to sub in for electric guitar. You rag on Tim so much, Concert Viz 34. Why don't you play your Fender Strat?" And it's like, if I was on stage, maybe I don't have my phone out because I don't want to look like I'm that guy, but I'm definitely gonna try to have someone document. Like, I want Rodrigo or whoever's taking pictures. Hey, make sure you get like 300 pictures of me like enjoying this, and I'm gonna be excited. And I may have, like, listen, I'll be like having a post-show show. Oh, this is me, and I'm in DMB. Like, Buddy has this joy of every single time he's on stage. The fact he gets to be with the fans is a blessing. And he has a little thing where he's side stage and he's already starting the video, and people can see him getting his phone out and they start cheering. So I really think Buddy's having the most fun. And the interesting thing, and I'm here with JoJo here. We're in upstate New York, but JoJo brought up a good point. Now, maybe this isn't the case. Maybe last night Rashawn is just exhausted, but it seems like it's interesting to see, like, Rashawn gets a little bit of praise, a little bit, right? And Rashawn writes all these jams and parts. He's had to help with like when Jeff had the C19, he had to get been the sax guy up. He was writing parts for him to play. And Rashawn seems to want more appreciation. And I understand some of that because we kind of like, yeah, when he plays his one part, people cheer. But Buddy Strong kind of just strolls into this band, and initially people question him, but in the like from 2021 and 2022, a little bit of 2019, Buddy Strong strolls into this band, doesn't have a lot of as many like important roles as obviously Rashawn. Rashawn is the quarterback of the plays, the jam playbook. He's running those plays, but Buddy gets a lot of praise, and he's talented, but Buddy gets a lot of praise, and he's not really doing as much like of the jams behind the scenes as far as what we know. But Rashawn is kind of tasked with doing these jams, and he doesn't get as much praise. I wonder, and again, I'm not trying to cause drama with the band, but I wonder how Rashawn feels about Buddy getting this like really this popularity from like zero to hero. And Rashawn kind of people appreciate him. They would love to hang out with him, but they don't like him as much as Buddy.
Right. Plus, he's bringing all the good. He kind of, I think, equalized the sound because for a few years, man, like I know, Tim was trying to kind of cover that sound, the high end and stuff like that. And now with Buddy in here, he's synthesizing a lot of the sounds that we lost with Boyd. Yeah. So now I think that the sound has kind of come together. Yeah, I think a lot of the love's coming to Buddy. So and plus he's never not smiling. He's never not having a good time. So that's a good point.
Right. Yeah. He's always happy, and I think I always say without Buddy, this band isn't as happy as they are. Maybe they don't tour. Maybe they have a shorter tour. Maybe they're on stage and they're not as happy. Buddy really brought an element of joy to every show that Tim Reynolds, who never really responded to stuff, was dapping up Buddy after a jam.
Yeah.
And I think for a band like this, you need those spontaneous people to keep things fresh, to keep people like, people, the energy of Buddy reflects on the rest of the band, and they're more happy to get on stage. And burnout is real. I don't know if you listen to Fish, but Fish had their hiatuses. Other bands have had their hiatuses. Even Pearl Jam, even though I'm not I don't know their whole catalog front to back. Pearl Jam went from they'll do a bunch of tours, and then they kind of just do they sit around and they do a bunch of tours. Like they're almost, they're not touring like DMB, and for DMB to do what they're doing, Buddy Strong is a huge energy boost to keep doing these 40 plus shows a year.
Well, hey man, thanks for having me on, man. It was good to catch up, and it was good to see you at this thing, and we got to figure out the next concert I'll see you at.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for coming on, Eric, and safe travels whenever you return back home.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
All right, peace. All right, so thank you to Eric, and I just ran into Eric by chance on SPAC Night 1. It was nice. And listen, you guys, some of you guys came up to me. I love everyone who watches this stream. You don't have to be someone who comments, okay? I think that's probably one of the coolest things is some of you guys in the chat. I've met some of you guys, and I'm really excited to see you guys. But to see some of the faces of people who just watch this and aren't necessarily verbal, like you don't have to have an opinion. You can just be quiet. You can be incognito. I just want to create an area for people to be entertained and to enjoy and to learn the history and even teach me the history, right? I don't know everything, and I'm learning things every day. And I try to really soak up a lot of the stats and stuff in this band, if you guys can see. And that's one thing I try to pride myself on, is trying to really having a grasp of the history of this band. I feel like I'm a historian, right? I wasn't there in 99, right? I wasn't there in 97, but I've talked to OGs. I've talked to people who were there. I've listened to tapes from these eras, and I just try to bring that on here for the show. So, excuse me. Let's talk about the poster. Let me see if I can bring that up here. Oh, I got to get the right show. Actually, we can look up. Where's tonight's poster? So this poster is very interesting because you have a lot of people that wanted it, and you have people that may not be their style, and that's okay. I think one of the interesting things about the Dave Matthews Band community is the fact that people like different types of things. Now, last night was more the landscape poster anyway. Um, Last night's poster to me is the one that I would actually hang up on my wall first. Listen, both these posters are awesome, but I think the reason is because I love landscapes. I love when they actually use, if we're in the Big Apple and they have the Empire State Building, or they have Yankee Stadium, or they have the Statue of Liberty. I like that type of stuff, and that's why I like the Dead and Company prints. So I think night one to me is the one I would hang up on my wall first. But night two is it's a really good poster for what the fans of Miles saying like. Okay, this is a really good poster for people who want his ladies, and he has a sax. And I think the detail of these flowers, and also look at right here, right? Look at this. If you look right at the center of your screen, she has a fire dancer tattoo, which is cliche, right? How many women, like, if you go and say, hey, how was your date? Oh, great. Yeah, I went on a date with this Dave Matthews Band fan. She had a fire dancer tattoo. Her license plate was Gray Street, and she had a sundress on. You know how many people, like, you'd be like, who is that? Which one? She was blonde. Which one? Or she was brunette. Which one? But it's cool to see that they have that attention to detail, that fire dancer right there, and the saxophone is really cool, and the flowers are coming out of it. You have almost like a tattoo there. There's a horse right here. There's a horse tattoo right there. If you guys can see that on her, right on her bicep or arm. And so, Saratoga is a horse racing community. They have the horse track here. They have a lot of races here for some of the younger horses. So a lot of attention to detail. Again, I would prefer the more landscape thing, but I know Miles saying people love his stuff. It's the fourth one for Shane and Angie Whitford. So congratulations to that, for them to have their fourth sang. Like I said, I still think the night one poster was the better one. So here I am, right? I've been going to every weekend show since Hartford Mansfield, or Mansfield Hartford. What's been cool about this run? I think one of the coolest things about this run of shows, again, Mansfield, Hartford, Deer Creek, Alpine, SPAC. I've gotten so right a bunch of times, right? That's an awesome thing to have so right so many times. Say Goodbye was a song that eluded me for so long. But I've gotten Say Goodbye 3 times in this tour. I think I've only had, before this year, I had 3 total plays of Say Goodbye. But to have Say Goodbye 3 times has been awesome, right? And it's a song where literally I've gotten grave, like every time this drum solo goes to Grave Digger. But this year they all went to Say Goodbye. I haven't even got Grave Digger this year, which is a good song, but I'd rather have Say Goodbye. What else? I've got 2 drive-in, drive-outs. Never heard the song before this year live. Got that. Pay for What You Get is another highlight of this little run. Just amazing. Just amazing to get that song, right? The Too Much Fake in the Halloween. Another great moment. Overall, the band has played songs very well. They're tight and cohesive this year on a whole nother level. 2021, it was brought to a new level. 2022, it's even better. And really, some of the songs I don't like, again, I understand how big moments they are. a Watchtower closer at Alpine. Not one thing I would pick, but it really was popping. A what else? So we talked about Watchtower. Louisiana Bayou. I've got Louisiana Bayou every single weekend. Oh, that's a down. That's to me a down. But as much as I don't want that song, it's getting the crowd moving, and the jam is awesome, as I said earlier. I think one thing, the reason I did all these shows, first of all, I was going to Hartford Mansfield. I got a SPAC ticket in the lottery, and then my boy John and Valerie, they both worked together to get me a ticket. Shout out to both of them. I believe it was John talking to Valerie, but however it was done, thank you guys for hooking a brother up. Right. So, but I wanted to go to Alpine and Deer Creek, and I didn't know how soon I was going to get back to the Midwest. So I said, let me just do both of them. First, I was just going to do Alpine, come back home and do Deer Creek. And I said, no, let me just stay out in the Midwest. Shane says his last Pay for What You Get was 2014 in Detroit. And that's what was interesting. So they had those DMB 2 sets where they were playing it in 14, 15. I never got any of those. Pay for What You Get. So Pay for What You Get, I never got those live. I went to a bunch of 2-set shows, but I never got Pay for What You Get. But then you go back to really around, I think 2008 is when the full band non-acoustic set Pay for What You Get. So it was just a very, very special thing to get that song in my 41st show. So this is my 41st show. I think, what am I going to do? First of all, I'm extremely tired. I'm tired from all this, but I had a ball. Like, this was an awesome little journey. And to me, one thing I value more sometimes in the actual show is meeting you guys and talking to you guys at the shows. I think the community thing is very important. I see why. I think the community drives you to more shows and keeps your heart full even more than the actual shows itself. Just talking to some of you guys again, won't go into specifics, but there is a lot of people, you guys, and we're all going through so much right now. And to be able to hug people, to send prayers to people, and just send joy and encouragement to people that are going through things, losing loved ones, right? Going through divorces, right? Going through just different heartaches, and losing, even losing some elders in your family, right? Having different rifts in your family. Like, to me, to be able to see you guys, hug you guys, chill out in the tailgate with you guys, go to the lawn with you guys, it's awesome. To me, the Midwest, all the people out there in the Midwest that I met up with had such great hospitality. From Jessica and her husband Wayne to Connor, and I met his family. I met Connor's family, and it was very awesome to meet them. Just very, very awesome people from the Chicago suburbs. It's very uplifting to be able to meet some of you guys and catch up, and even people who just see me real quick. Hey, I think I've seen your videos, right? I love being with the people. I'm the man of the people, and I love being with the people. Various viewpoints, various things you're hoping for in a show. It's awesome. And again, the people, my pal from Live Nation, I met up with at SPAC, and I wasn't able to see his wife, who I saw at Farm Aid, right? But still, just to be able to text you guys, let you know how I was enjoying the show tonight. It means a lot that some of you guys are thinking about me and my experience. And what I would say, I know some people are asking me, what do you think about this venue or that venue? What I encourage people to do is, if you have the resources and funds, go to a venue that's not in your home area. And one of the things I would say, I you may have seen some of the stuff I tweeted, but like, one of the things that actually frustrates me now is when people kind of down a show that they're not at. or they don't hear from someone at the show. Now, if they're not at a show and their friends, a bunch of people that go on the show say, hey, this show is weird or different, I mean, you can kind of take that. But I think that one of the things that really frustrated me this weekend was, some people from Alpine who, listen, last week they were and most of the people from Alpine are great, but it's a small minority of people that are trying to like down SPAC and you weren't even here, right? Of course, there's things I would have loved to hear, but don't down this weekend if you haven't come. And there were just people, oh yeah, I grew up in New York and I'm from this part of New York. SPAC's my home venue, but I thought Alpine. But like, if you're not there, don't judge. And again, I'm somebody who can fully admit, some of you guys, Greg's not on right now. Greg's not on Groton 27, but I used to just be like, oh, this venue, like, oh, man, this show, oh. But then what I started doing last year was getting you guys to come on, and I'm going to need some of you guys to come on and help me. If you're going to a show, let me know. The Guilford shows, the Camden shows, especially those are the ones coming up. Let me know. If you're going to CMAC for Dave and Tim, let me know, and we'll have you on the show to tell us about your experience. I think that's one of the biggest things I want to bring to light is talk to people that are at the show. If you're not at the show, you can listen to a Sirius XM broadcast and the energy won't translate. Like some of the stuff in SPAC, because they don't have speakers in every section of SPAC. Like, how the NFL, you can literally hear the side, and they have mics everywhere. They don't have Sirius XM can't. It's not feasible and affordable. It's not a good business model. So you can look at a show on a stream. Even some of these festivals, like I know some people, oh, this crowd's weak, this crowd's whack, but really the camera can't capture some of the energy. Sometimes it can, but sometimes it can't. So I just would encourage everyone to try to just, before you speak on a show, you can say, hey, this isn't my favorite run, but listen to people who were there and watch videos and see, because sometimes what can seem like a mediocre run will be, for sometimes being at the show, it just feels epic. I've gone to shows and you and me has played, and it actually, I'm like, wow. I mean, I think they play it very well in general, but there was a couple times, Mohegan 2018, I was like, wow, they really got this thing down, right? They really got this thing down. It sounds amazing. And I'm glad that I was able to hear it, even though it's, again, not my favorite song. So that is a thing. So yeah, Dylan says we haven't heard Big Eye Fish, right? Yeah. So Big Eye Fish has not been played this year for a full band show. And I say that because sometimes Dave and Tim will bust something out, but it'll still be something that's not showing as a tour debut, because it's a different tour for Dave and Tim. But I think the thing with this tour, they're coming out with a bunch of tour debuts. So like Hartford had more tour debuts than any individual SPAC weekend, but also Hartford was at a different time in the tour. And there's going to be some of these like venues where you may only get one tour debut, because they're trying to I think they're trying to keep this streak going for the tour, where every show there's one new song that someone can say they heard for the first time this tour, which is really cool, especially going to all these venues. Every single show I've been to, every single venue in the last 4 weeks, there's been a song I didn't hear at the previous. And I think that's a really cool thing that they're doing there. So what else is there? I mean, really, that's it. I mean, like I said, I would have traded I have a personal frustration that Shotgun was not played for any of these shows for Deer Creek. Like, to say that I went to Deer Creek Alpine and SPAC and there's no Shotgun, it is a little bit disappointing, but there were so many different moments. I got 2 pigs like that. I think the biggest highlight, again, I can keep reiterating this, is there were songs that I got in the last 4 weeks of going to these shows that I had not gotten in that same level ever. Like Say Goodbye, like Drive In, Drive Out, Break Free and Break For It. I mean, that's what makes Hartford special. Like I'm just looking at the Hartford. They had Break Free and Break, and I talked about that. I said if I get one of those, I'm happy. I got both of them. So the band is doing a good job of again giving non-traditional venues a banger set, and traditional venues like a SPAC that are very popular. You're still getting paid for what you get. So it is a great. This was a great experience. I am exhausted, and I will be taking time away from the road until I get to Fish, and Fish is down the block from me in Hartford. So that's a very close show, a Sunday show too as well. Let's see if that video is ready, because what I want to do is pay for what you get, and then we'll call it. Oh, so it's still uploading. And it's still up. Let's see if it'll upload in a second. Todd says I should have went. Hey, Todd. Todd loves, for those of you who aren't on Twitter, Todd loves pay for what you get. Every show, if there's, hey, what song you want to hear, or he'll just put a post, and I love it. Shout out to Todd. He'll just pay for what you get. At me or post it in a thread or whatever. Like it's just that's the song he's chasing, and I hope you get it, Todd, one of these days. Patiently waiting for the awesomeness. Yes, I hope you do get it. And I mean, who could have predicted pay for what you get tonight, right? We had the Raven, Shotgun, Dreaming Tree. But that's what makes this band. But just when you think and by the way, on the Setlist, it was put as a solo spot. So he could have did anything. He could have did another Rye Whiskey, which would have gotten some people happy. He could have did Singing from the Windows, which I mean, I'm sure that song seems to have gone away, but he could have like anything. But pay for what you get, and it was full band. I think that was the coolest thing. When you guys see this video that I made for pay for what you get, when you see everyone walking on at the same time, I think that was very epic. To have the full band come back. Hope my comments on Twitter last night about Sonic back on. No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you, Michael. It wasn't you. I want to make that clear, because you were like, really? Because you wanted to know. You were at Alpine. You were like, was it really louder than SPAC? Was SPAC louder? And I said, yeah, the highest parts of it were louder. My comments are more towards Michael. I don't know if you're part of that Alpine Facebook group. And I love the people in that group. And we had somebody, and we have a family in that group and they were not. Listen, by the way, I just want to make this clear too. There's a woman, Megan, who's going through a battle with cancer. This wasn't her family, and I think that just goes to show you, because Megan seems to be from what we're hearing, a warrior to fight cancer and to take it head on. So it wasn't people like that. It wasn't. So we have Stephanie SK Boyd Fire Dancer, right? It wasn't her. There were just select people on Facebook on the Alpine Valley group that were just like, they were just, oh, this set is this. Like they were like, somebody tried to say the set died down last night. Bro, they played Drive In, Drive Out in two-step. And they said after Fool in the Rain, the set died down. What? I think they played Dance and Dance. Like it was wild. And sometimes I have to just learn to ignore that stuff. But I sometimes I feel like I got to speak my mind. I got this platform, and I just want to keep it 100. Like it was Alpine. It was people who didn't go to Alpine, and the majority of people in that group, the majority of people I've talked to, the majority of people that I love from Alpine and Deer Creek, these were not the culprits. It were just people that to me just were saying some wild stuff. We did not get JTR tonight. We did not get, for the weekend, we did not get What You Are. We did not get Sugar Will. But, I think one of the things with this tour, you're going to get a bunch of surprises, and they're going to work on some special tour debuts. But you're not going to get, like some SPAC weekends, you've got 3 or 4 tour debuts. I don't think that's the case. They're kind of spreading these tour debuts out, and they're slowly easing out stuff. They're trying to mix up stuff, which we saw last night with this typical situation at the 7 spot. So this band is doing some different things. Let's see if I can. All right, video is processing. Tony C says Squirm has disappeared. The red guitar has disappeared. Yes, Squirm, even Idea of You, Shotgun. The red guitar was not played all weekend. The Violette Avante, right? And that was, you thought you would get at least like a Squirm or Idea View, even though Idea View hasn't had frequent play over the last couple of years. It's been on and off, Katy Perry hot and cold. So I'm hoping this video does process, and then I can just close out on this hot from the presses. I did get the Griffon. Yeah, the Griffon Avante, right? Griffon 12 string, yeah. I think that's what it's called, the Griffon Avante. But it's a 12 stringer, red color. Dylan J says, I can't wait for Raleigh and Virginia Beach. And yeah, we'll see. There may be some, some of you guys may already know, but Raleigh may have some other special things popping off there as well outside of the full band. So stay tuned. Allegedly. If you know, you know. Raleigh may have some other things going on this year, 2022. The city that stole the Whalers from my childhood. Well, not the way, their owner, Peter Carmanos at the time did, but I always feel like Raleigh stole them. It's not Raleigh's fault. It's the ownership of the Whalers at the time. Peter Carmanos was not a cool dude. He was not at all. Squirm never disappoints. Yeah, Squirm has some great lyrics, and it's pretty epic. Hey, Michael. Hey, chill. I saw that comment. hey, let's keep it on a DL. Let's look at the set list breakdown. Come on, video process. 4 Under the Table and Dreaming, 3 Remember 2 Things, 2 Crash, 2 Before These Crowded Streets, 2 Unreleased. Let's pull this up because the almanac is back up. It's had some hiccups tonight. That's what happens when there's a pay for what you get. Two Come Tomorrow songs. That's not a lot. First full band pay for what you get since August 1st, 2015. So, guys, we're almost there. It's processing. It's at 95% processing. So that pay for what you get's coming. Hey, make sure you, when this video comes out, you share the links. You watch the video over and over. Hit the like button. But so last night, and again, I think when we look at this, there's positives you can take away from this weekend that take a little more time to appreciate. There were no Come Tomorrow songs last night. Someone brought that up. But there were no Come Tomorrow songs last night. There were 4 Crash. 4, now, yes, there were Frisky, but 7 was cool because 7's only been played 3 times this year. When 7's played 70 million times, we were sick of it. But 7 sparingly is good. In moderation, it's good. Right? There was no Stand Up last night. That's awesome. And one thing I noticed, they didn't play You Might Die Trying, which had gotten a lot of plays recently. They played recently, which hasn't been played recently. So without further ado, and again, watch the video on your own accord because I want you guys to still get the views for your boy. But I do want to play. This Pay for What You Get. This was a very special moment in the set. I do have the Halloween, the too much into Halloween that I've been trying to get these openers for you. And shout out to the people around me because this year, even with all the shows, the 8 shows so far, and then I'll have 9th on Sound, but Sound on Sound will be different. But these 8 shows, I've had some very nice views. And listen, some of them have been challenges, but some of them have been nice. And what I'm going to do, we're going to close out this show on the Pay for What You Get. You guys will be able to see it from when my camera started rolling to the end credits. And again, don't forget to watch this video, YouTube Concert Viz 34. Those views count. so that it gets more exposure. And really, when you guys hit this like button, the more exposure, that stuff's working. So continue to hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, hit it now. Tell your friends to hit the like button. Tell your mama, your grandma, your auntie, hit the like button, because what's happening is, because you guys are liking this content, the last couple of weeks I ran into people that said, I just found out about your content. It was a suggestion. Suggestions don't happen unless you guys are hitting the like button and commenting and sharing this with your friends. And I appreciate those of you guys who have been doing that. So without further ado, we'll take this ticker down so you guys can focus in on this, like the band. Focusing on them, pay for what you get without seeing when the next shows are. Well, that's a great marketing tool. Pay for what you get's playing in here. Next show, Guilford. Come on down. Right. So yeah, we're gonna play this. Pay for what you get. Thank you again. I cannot say it enough. Thank you guys for the support. The last couple of weeks across the country, a different time zone, central time zone for a period. It was I was honored to really have so many people come up to me and say what up and thank you for what you do. Pay for what you get is coming up right now. It's your boy Conserviz 34. Be well, be safe. If you're driving home from Saratoga tonight, tomorrow morning, if you're on route right now, be safe, be well, be careful. Move over for vehicles who are broken down if possible, and don't ride the left lane. Use the left lane to pass. The DOT did not pay me to say that. All right, it's your boy Conserviz 34. Pay for what you get. Peace.
Thank you very much, man. We love coming here, and thank you so much for keeping that going. Fingers to the bone, suck the marrow, drain my soul. Pay your dues and your debts, pay your respects. Everybody tells me, pay for what you get. You pay for what you get.